VIZ Media recently dropped all their spring 2026 license announcements, so let's talk about everything that you need to know about these upcoming new releases. It is June 2025, which means that we just got our second round of license announcements from VIZ Media. A lot of exciting stuff out of this round, obviously nothing quite as big, so to say, as Kingdom last time. However, at the very least, VIZ didn't split these announcements across 2 weeks, which is great because when they did that last time, it was really a huge reason why I was unable to actually put a video like this out, like I have been doing for the past several years. It's the first one I missed in a while, I believe. Anyway, as always with these, I'm going to go through each of these announcements in the order that they were made. I'm going to read the what VIZ said about this license, and then I'm going to add some additional commentary where I have additional commentary to add. So jumping into it, starting off with Bug Ego by One and Kyoto Shitara. A new series from One, the creator of One Punch Man and Mob Psycho 100, two students find hacks that change reality, but it takes only one misstep to cause catastrophic outcomes. This one should have been rather obvious, but I completely forgot that this title exists because it does get published irregularly, like a lot of One's material. It's been going since 2023 and only has 2 volumes. But either way, I'm very excited for this, and I think that anyone who is a fan of One Punch Man or Mob Psycho 100 is probably going to want to go ahead and pick this one up. So this is a win for me, win in my book, something that I'm excited to pick up. Moving on to the next one, we have Super Psychic Policeman Chojo by Shun Numa. I know a lot of people were probably very surprised by this getting a physical license announcement. At West Shinjuku Police Station, Ippongi realizes her new partner Chojo uses his psychic powers to do everything except work. Together they turn the police force into a farce. Now this one, funny enough, just got axed. Like the last chapter came out, I believe this week in Weekly Shonen Jump, and I know that like the way that things happen on the licensing side, they've probably been working towards announcing this license for a little while, so they had no idea that it was going to line up so closely. Like lining up exactly with when the series got axed is pretty humorous, but they wouldn't know that it was going to be ending even close to the time that they were going to announce the license. Next up, though, is something a lot more exciting. Magical Girl Dandelion by Kaoru Mizuho. Magical girls and fiends are enemies, so can Tenpopo's secret friendship with the fiend Shade survive after she becomes a magical girl? This one was very expected. Like, it was pretty obvious that this would be getting an announcement for a physical release, if not this time, then next time. But while it was very obvious, it was nonetheless a very exciting license because this was a title that, if you remember from last year, was immediately turning heads as soon as it started publication. VIZ licensed it for Simulpub, and there was interviews, all kinds of excitement over it, fan art immediately. So I'm very excited because I really don't read anything digitally except for like One Piece. So I've been really looking forward to checking this one out, and I am a big fan of Magical Girl titles, and I feel like most of the Magical Girl titles that we get on the shelves now are like, it's Magical Girls, but it's a seinen series, or it's Magical Girls, but it's actually a guy, or it's, you know, something different, and it's like, I just kind of want Magical Girl stuff sometimes. Anyway, very excited about this license, but I have to say also this is the only Shoujo Beat license in this entire round of announcements. And not only that, but last time, the only Shoujo Beat license, there was only one, and it was just a re-release of Nana, which is not out of print or anything, and I am excited for that too because I want Nana in a larger format, but this is the 20th anniversary of Shoujo Beat, and we've just gone through 2 rounds of license announcements with 1 announcement each, and I don't know, it seems like for the 20th anniversary you might want to do a little bit more to celebrate, but all they've really done so far is there's like pins being given away at Crunchyroll if you order a volume of certain titles. So it's odd, and it's not a good look on VIZ's part, and I could go on and on about it, and you know, how I feel about this in particular and all the issues about it, but I don't want to spend time in this video doing so, and I've already done so on a couple of live streams as well. So let's just move on to the next one. Sakamoto Holidays Of course, this is going to be in the Shonen Jump line by Tetsuo Okawa, with concept by Yuto Suzuki, the creator of the original series. Kill some time with Sakamoto as he solves neighborhood crimes in this Sakamoto Days spin-off. He'll renew the area to be the most peaceful shopping arcade in town. So this one started up in Saikyo Jump last year. It currently has 2 volumes. At this point, I think we should expect most of the spin-offs of current Shonen Jump titles to wind up getting licensed and released in English, especially those in Saikyo Jump, because we've had a lot of these have been getting released in the recent past. But I'm very excited to see this. I am a fan of Sakamoto Days, and I'm looking forward to having the spin-off on my shelf. Moving on to something different, Statues, Junji Ito's story collection. Headless Statues, a teacher's gruesome murder, a cursed river ritual, nightmare fuel distilled into 10 short stories from the Eisner Award-winning master of horror, Junji Ito. This is notable, not just because we're getting, of course, another Junji Ito release, because I think within the last several years there's been one round of license announcements where they didn't have one, and that was, I believe, last October. But it's notable also because this is based on the final masterpiece collection, Headless Sculptures, and that's what these Junji Ito story collection volumes have been directly based on. So that said, this should be the final Junji Ito story collection hardcover, unless VIZ is able to compile uncollected short stories into their own collection, which I'm not sure if that's something that they're able to do, but there are a lot of uncollected short stories. Now, not only is this the last of the Masterpiece collection, but we are getting very close to having every Ito book out in English, and so I do have a list of all the stuff that's not out yet in English. Oh, I also have a list of the stories in here. So this will include Red String, The Gift Bearer, The Bridge, Circus Comes to Town, Beehive, Map Town, Headless Sculptures, Dying Young, Scarecrows, and The Will. Now, as for the stuff that has not been adapted yet into English, there is a Diary of Embellished Patches, which is kind of similar to Cat Diary in that its story is taken from Ito's real life. A Study from the Abyss of Horror, which was released in 2017 to celebrate the 30th anniversary of Ito's career in manga, and it collects the stories Yonenmu no Yurei Buken, The Return of the Hanging Balloons, Layers of Fear, and Demon's Voice. So I'm wondering if they'll save this to release in 2017 for his 40th anniversary. Or maybe there will be another release for his 40th anniversary, and then, I don't know, we'll see what happens. And then Rasputin the Patriot, which is his biggest series. It was 6 volumes long. He only contributed art, he didn't write the series. It's about a Japanese diplomat who is arrested on suspicion of breach of trust. And then there is Soichi Possessed, which is a single short story that was collected in a best of collection titled Warped, which was made up of of stories that were collected in other Masterpiece collection volumes. Aside from that, he has at least 8 other short stories that are not collected anywhere, as well as bi-monthly stories that he's been putting out in the magazine Nemuki Plus. And I was unable to confirm whether those are still ongoing or if he stopped back in 2024, because the last story that I could find was from 2024. So yeah, we're getting close to the end as far as the Junji Ito releases, and people keep asking them, like, what are you going to do after you catch up with the Junji Ito? Well, 1, they'll probably wait and just put things out as they become available, and 2, there are plenty of other creators that they can treat in the same way. They've already kind of been doing it for Kazuo Umez by doing 1 license at a time, but they could start doing more and more Umez as well, which I'm really hoping for, because Umez is just chef's kiss fantastic. And I was surprised actually that they didn't have a new one announced this time around, but maybe we'll get something in October. Moving on, we've got one from this should be in the Shonen Sunday line, The Mortifying Ordeal of Being Seen. Being sexy can be mortifying, so who will be the first to tap out in this battle of flirtatious gazes between smitten seatmates Eguchi and Ikazawa? So this is a ecchi school life title, which we didn't previously get much stuff like that in the Sunday line, but it's I guess that they're going more towards some of the Web Every stuff, which does tend to have more of the ecchi titles and the more mature titles in it. And then next up from Weekly Shonen Sunday, Akira Failing in Love by Shinta Harekawa. This one is ongoing right now with 2 volumes from Weekly Shonen Sunday, so it will also be in the Shonen Sunday line. Akira returns to the countryside for high school with a plan to win the heart of her childhood crush. They're both fools in love because she's too dense to figure out he likes her back. Another rom-com coming into the Sunday line. This one is not quite as mature as the other one, though. This one will be a little bit more wholesome. Then moving on to Disney Twisted Wonderland. It seems like nowadays it's not a round of announcements without at least one Twisted Wonderland license, and this time we actually got 2. So first up, Twisted Wonderland, the manga, Book of Scarabia by Majiko, concept by Yana Toboso. This is one of the multiple parts. I think this is the 4th part, the 4th episode that they've done in English now. This is, as the title might suggest, Scarabia. It's based on the Aladdin, inspired from Jafar from Aladdin, based on the Disney Twisted Wonderland mobile game, Get Ready to Visit Scarabia Dorm, inspired by Jafar from Disney's Aladdin, Disney Twisted Wonderland, the manga, Book of Scarabia. Now, I don't really know anything about Twisted Wonderland, except, of course, like I just said, it's based on the mobile game. I know that, like, each of these are dorms and stuff, and all of these are Square Enix licenses, published in G Fantasy, with original concept art and stuff like that, and the original concept from the creator of Black Butler. Other than that, I really don't know much about these books at all, but aside from Book of Scarabia, they also have coming out Disney Twisted Wonderland, Usurper from the Wilds, inspired by Disney's The Lion King, and includes a fold-out poster. That's going to be a novel, so that's why I have it on the screen really small, because I usually talk about like manga and stuff on here and not novels and light novels. So yeah, I don't have much more to say about that. So moving on, we've got from Ghibli, Princess Mononoke film comic all-in-one edition, based on the film by Hayao Miyazaki and Studio Ghibli. This is all 5 volumes in 1 hardcover. Ashitaka, Lady Eboshi, and Force Protector San rise to meet fate in Hayao Miyazaki's classic Studio Ghibli film Princess Mononoke through this full-color film comic. I actually just went to the 4K theatrical release a few months ago, which was my second time seeing it in theaters. Anyway, so this will be the 5th in their new hardcover line, which so far includes My Neighbor Totoro, Kiki's Delivery Service, Spirited Away, and Ponyo. So this will be number 5. So they've been doing almost once every round. I think they didn't announce one of these last time, but almost once every round of announcements they've been announcing one of these. And aside from the fact that the trim size is absolutely minuscule, like they're smaller than your average like Shonen Jump Shoujo Beat book, these are really great. I really like Ghibli film comics. Usually I don't give a crap about film comics at all, or anime-manga as they used to call them, because it's just, you know, frames from the movie put onto a page. But the artwork is so great from Ghibli movies that sometimes, I mean, you could literally pause it at any frame in the movie and it's just great to look at. And this is exactly what this is giving you. It's just a physical edition of that experience, and I'm all here for it. I really like it. Anyway, moving on, we've got Fangirl, the manga, the complete box set by Rainbow Rowell, Sam Maggs, and Gabi Nam. This includes all 4 volumes of the VIZ original title, plus a bonus poster. This was one of the first in the VIZ Originals line, so they're celebrating it after its completion with a box set. I don't know if we're going to see other VIZ Originals box sets later on, but for anyone who was interested in this title, this will be a good time to pick it up for a lower price. Or if maybe you've read the novel before that it's based on and you haven't read the comic, this will be a good time to get into that. This next announcement, this is my biggest one that I'm most excited for, and that is Dragon Quest: The Adventure of Dai by Riku Sanjo and Koji Inada is coming back. Now, if you're unfamiliar let me read their description first, and then we'll talk. Set in the world of the Dragon Quest video games, Dai sets out for the Temple of the Dragon Knights in search of his identity. Okay, so if you're unfamiliar, they published 1 through 5, and then they stopped. They had, specifically in the announcement, they did note that they were doing just the first arc, but they didn't make it super duper clear, because I completely missed that until like after Volume 5 came out, and someone pointed out like, oh, they only mentioned they were doing the first arc. I'm like, ah, crap. So now it's been like 3 to 4 years since Volume 5 came out, and there's been no news about it. I had just assumed like it didn't sell well enough, so they were dropping it after that first arc. Similarly to what they did with like JoJo's Bizarre Adventure back when they first did the paperbacks, they did Stardust Crusaders. It didn't sell well. They left it alone until way later when the anime started up, and then there was a lot more interest, and then they started again from the beginning, and it's been huge. So I was just assuming like it's dead in the water, we're not getting it. So when this got announced, I was very, very surprised and excited, and I cannot wait. So there are 25 volumes total in this edition of Dragon Quest, which means they've already published 1 through 5, so this is going to be the announcement for 6 through 25, the next 20 volumes. I don't know if they're going to be labeled by arc, so it could be Dragon Quest The Adventure of Dai, subtitle Volume 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, but there are 5 arcs, each of which consist of 5 of these oversized volumes. Anyway, this is my pick for like the most exciting of the month. I'm so happy about this, and I don't want to like take away anyone's hope, but this is very different than stuff like Reborn and Gintama, because those titles were not originally licensed or announced to just be part of it. Those they dropped, like they were supposed to do the series, and then they didn't make enough money at the time and they got dropped. So I just want to put that out there, not to like, or I could mention Beat the Vandal Buster, because the same thing happened with that. Well, not exactly the same thing. That one was on hiatus in Japan. They caught up and then they just never picked it back up again. But I mentioned Beat because it's the same creators as Dragon Quest. Anyway, I'm bouncing all over the place. I'm bouncing all over the place because I'm so excited about this. But I just want to point that out, not to like take anyone's hope away that those things will happen, but just to explain that there is a difference between the two. And I too want Gintama and Reborn and everything else that they dropped back in the like late 2000s, early 2010s. I want to see all those come back as well. But this is not a signifier that that is exactly what's going to be happening soon. So I'm just putting that out there. Anyway. Very excited about this. Let's move on to the next one. The Art of Manga, and this is an art book that is being put out in conjunction with the exhibition at the De Young Museum in San Francisco. It's going to be running from September 27th to 2025 to January 25th of 2026, and this particular book will consist of 200 full-color illustrations. The description is, in conjunction with the groundbreaking De Young Museum exhibition, the Art of Manga highlights 10 key manga artists and includes over 200 full-color illustrations. However, on the website for the exhibition, they list 11 artists. The 11 that they mention are Tetsuya Chiba of Ashita no Jo, Fujio Akatsuka of Osamatsu-kun, Rumiko Takahashi of Ranma 1/2, Joe Taniguchi of The Walking Man, Mari Yamazaki of Therme Rome, Hirohiko Araki of JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, Kazumi Yamashita of Land, Gengoro Tagame of My Brother's Husband, Fumi Yoshinaga of Oku, Eiichiro Oda of One Piece, and Keiichi Tanami, who was the art director of Weekly Playboy magazine. Anyway, moving on, we've got, this should be in the VIZ signature line, Centuria from Toru Kuramori, a bitter slave, a cruel bargain, a child worth saving. When Julian trades a life to awaken an ancient god, he gains powers he must use to protect an innocent in a brutal world. It might be in the Shonen Jump line, actually. I completely forgot. It's from Jump Plus, so those go either way. We'll see. We'll see where it goes. This one I'm very excited about. It's been ongoing since last year. It has 4 volumes so far. Like I said, it's in Jump Plus, so you can read it if you have access to the Manga Plus app, and if you are into action horror titles. And this next one was another of the most obvious things that was going to get licensed this time, and that, of course, is Ichi the Witch from Osamu Nishi and Shiro Usazaki. against all odds, Ichi becomes the only male witch in the entire world. Not even the great witch Descaras is prepared for the headache he is about to bring her. So this one is another that's similar to Magical Girl Dandelion. It started last year, immediately met with huge fanfare. It's been going in Weekly Shonen Jump as one of the strongest new titles in there. So it was no surprise they were going to push this one out pretty quickly. And yeah, I'm very excited. As mentioned earlier, I really don't read stuff online except for like One Piece, and this is one that I have been extremely excited to be able to check out. So yeah, this was an obvious one that was going to come out, and I know a lot of people are going to be extremely excited to be able to add this into their physical collection. And also very exciting that, and I know this has been said a million times, the artist behind Act Age got to work on a new series that became a huge hit because they certainly deserved it. Moving on, JoJo's Bizarre Adventure Purple Smoke Distortion. This is the English title for Purple Haze Feedback, the spin-off light novel from Part 5, Golden Wind. What happened to Panacotta Fugo after the events of JoJo's Bizarre Adventure Part 5, Golden Wind? Find out in this novel. I have the Japanese edition of this one, but I cannot read Japanese, so it's just kind of a piece to have on the shelf, and now I will get to replace that with a volume that I can actually read. And that wraps up all the physical license announcements. They also had some digital exclusives, so just real quick, Shadow Eliminators, Green Green Greens, Two on Ice, and Beat and Motion. I will say that I am kind of surprised that they didn't go physical for Beat and Motion, especially since it has an anime coming out. I don't know what the decision-making process was on that one, but hopefully if they don't eventually do it physically, someone else can. But yeah, that's everything for this round from VIZ Media. I think a lot of great stuff. I'm going to be picking up, I will be picking up like 12 out of the 15 physical announcements that they did. But like I said, the one that I am the absolute most excited for is the return of Dragon Quest Adventure of Dai. And while I did say it is very different from what happened to all those other titles, I do hope that them bringing a title back, even though it was only a few years ago that they stopped publishing it, I do hope that fanfare for other things can show them that maybe it'll be worth it to bring back licenses like Reborn and like Gintama. I am also extremely excited about Ichi the Witch, Centuria, and the Magical Girl Dandelion, and Bug Ego, and I am also excited to be getting one step closer to having everything in Junjiito's catalog available in English. But let me know what you are most excited for out of this round of announcements. Let me know in the comments down below. Sound off. I'm always curious to see what people are the most hyped about. Anyway, if you're new here, thank you so much for tuning in. I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope it was helpful to you in making decisions on which of these licenses you might want to be picking up yourself. And hopefully you will hit that subscribe button. And for all of you who are not new here, thank you so much for coming back. You know how much I appreciate each and every one of you. And peace out. I'll see you all in the next one.